Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good day. Sorry for not posting as frequent as I've been wanting to, but life has been a little crazy. Okay. Um, as we're gonna look at today's weather event. As we can see, there's a huge slight risk with an enhance over here in Nebraska, Dakota, South Dakota, North Dakota. As we can see, there's some slight risk down here in Florida because of this tropical storm that's out and Gulf of Mexico. Sorry, like I said earlier, sorry for not been posting so much. I don't plan on posting a lot. This is just something I do for a hobby, something I just do sometimes, just to do. Try to improve my weather forecasting skills. As we can see, today's tornado chances of 5% of a year in South Dakota, 2% surrounding it, 2% in Colorado, and of course, anytime you have a tropical depression of some sort, there's always a slight chance of tornadoes occurring. We're going to look at the current vorticity and the low and relative humidity. As we can see, there's going to be a short wave trough, void time max. The reason why we're looking for this helps with determining how mature our lows is. Sometimes it helps with cold air loft, vorticity does all kinds of things, and hopefully in the future I'll be able to explain some of this. As we can see, there's a strong Fort Max shortwave trough negative tilt through this region. As we can see the low, as we can see the tropical depression down here in the Gulf of Mexico. All this is occurring at 12Z and at 060 the shortwave trough up here continues north. Our as we can also see, there's a low here. I expect our cold front something like this, maybe our warm front something like this, maybe. If so, as we can see, our 570 line, which represents warm air, goes all the way north. So we can definitely suspect maybe some strong storms through this region. As we can see, we're going to look at our upper winds. Last week we saw like the upper winds. Usually when a shortwave trough goes negative, that usually indicates there's strong winds, lower and upper winds. As we can see, we've got some strong low-level winds through this area, strong upper-level winds through this area, and we somewhat modest upper-level jets right here, right through this region. As you can also see down here with that other 5% chance in Florida, we can see that the lower and mid-level left rates, not left rate, but winds are suspected to become stronger through this region. So yes, there could be a chance of a brief tornado or two through that region. But definitely looks like our main weather event is going to happen in Nebraska / South Dakota. As we take a look at Ewell, I'm at MaxLab. Man, I'm off my game. We're going to look at MaxLab. We're going to look at the NAM first. We're going to look up here. And we're expecting these storms to form ahead of a warm front. So we can see this line of thunderstorms. So if we look at the sounding from Nebraska, chances none. C00Z. None. Oh, not getting very much. Let's do this. Let's look at what our surface space cape looks like. So as we can see through the evening, So we are expecting some unstable surface-based cake through this region. Let's click at soundings through here. Okay, so this looks much better. As we can see, we got favorable low-level winds through this region. Nice critical angle of 84. As we can see, it looks like our LCL heights are going to be quite elevated, but that's okay. As we can see, we have effective inflow, so these storms will have some strong inflow with these storms, even though the LCL heights is really high, with the surface 3 kilometers of storm loads of Felicity being really high, also with the 0.1 through 0.3 kilometers. They're both really high, so this could have potential of having a good brief spin up tornado through this region. As we can see, very low convective inhibition through that region. So we do get a slight unstable, but if we look over here where it says convective inhibition is that, so we suspect weak tornadoes. The reason being, we can see there looks like to be some sort of backing through this region. The reason that is maybe because we got some weaker upper level winds through this region. Even though there's some convective inhibition, we can still see everything is still surface based. 119 meters per second effective inflow. So we are still getting some effective inflow, so that means probably the convective inhibition is not too strong, but it's still not the strongest. So we're expecting something through this region. Through looks like northeast Nebraska and probably parts of South Dakota. We'll see what the mixed layer shows. So as we can see, some maybe instability through here. But like I said, it doesn't look like as long see the convective inhibition appears really strong, negative 486. You won't, technically speaking, some boxing whiskers, which is just parameters. I hope to go over this more later. This is what they look like. Sometimes meteorology uses plots these kind of things with convective inhibition less than 250. So as long as everything's not stronger than 250, there is a chance. So like 335, 305, 352. So all this is convective inhibition through this area is too strong for anything to happen. So kind of marking this area right in here maybe. So even though it still shows convective inhibition, as we can see, the convective inhibition seems to be very weak through this area. We'll see how our effective inflow is doing, see if it's able to feed into these storms. So we can see that. So we could probably still see some brief spin up tomorrow. It looks like there's some sort of capping here maybe. Or no, that's showing convective inhibition. So we'll definitely have to see what happens. See if these storms are able to break through the convective inhibition. But we're going to look at the helicity. But as we saw, the helicity values has been really high through this region. So we can see really high convective inhibition through this. I'm at helicity through this region. See how our lower helicity values are doing. We can still see some really high helicity. We'll look at the 3 kilometers energy helicity index. As we can see, we got large plume of energy helicity through this area. And looking at this looks a lot better. LCL heights are relatively lower. LFC heights is not too much higher. If we look at the curvature of this photograph, that looks great. That's, you see strong low level shear and upper level shear. Our convective inhibition is not really that strong. I don't know if it seems crazy. So we can even see that with the 0-1 kilometers and the lower levels being really high through this region. So it looks like South Dakota needs to be really watched. Sadly, I have something planned this afternoon, so I won't be able to go live later. We can also see the narrow high dew points. It seems to be all happening through this South Dakota region. And we saw that with the shear. It seems to strengthen through this region right in here, because this is when the trough goes negatively tilt. So let's see what the RAP says. See if it agrees about later this afternoon, but right in here, 00Z. So it says none. 02. So we can still see, looks like but we can see the convective inhibition through this area is really strong. It's not above negative 250, it's not below negative 250, but it's still relatively high. So we could still suspect maybe a brief spin up tornado through this region. And like I said, hopefully when I have more time in the future, I'll be able to do the box of whiskers and draw it out, and I'll show you more of what I'm looking at. So we can see still this white is max, so a lot of energy helicity through that area. Look at the 0-1 kilometers. Still a lot of 3. We can see these big plumes of energy helicity. Yeah, they're big plumes. I think. Okay, so as we can see, the LCL and LFC heights are largely split, and that means when a parcel rises, this is where the cloud starts, and this will help shoot it up. But the parcel is kind of cooler to this area. You really want the LCL and LFC heights to be closer together. As we can see, they're far apart on this sounding. So it definitely seems to be a very interesting event that could happen in South Dakota today. See, they're far apart. And you can see the convective inhibition is really strong. What's just happening right in here. 0-1 kilometer, see what's happening with that. Alright, now we're going to look at the HRRR. See what it says. 18, 19, 20. Alright, so right in here, 00Z. Looks like a line of storms. I think these storms up here might be more favorable. But, well, maybe down here. So it looks like a linear line of storms. Looks like you see the little indentions wherever these little indentions are. There's definitely a chance of a brief spin up tornado if we look at the updraft helicity. So you can see all this updraft helicity through this area. Even if these storms are elevated and the convective inhibition is too strong, still expect some strong hail. So we'll look at the supercell composite. 00Z as these line storms move through. So definitely Nebraska, South Dakota looks really great. Sorry for not the greatest video, should I say, ever. But I'm in a hurry because I gotta go somewhere here in a little bit. So, wherever these weakest points of convective inhibition of storms can form and produce, be in that region, that's where the greatest chance for tornadoes are going to be, in my opinion. But I'm thinking maybe more South Dakota has a better chance. The upper region, right in through here, maybe parts of northern Nebraska. So, well, and we can see as the afternoon continues, the shear gets stronger. So this definitely will help with these storms. Sorry for the very lame, short video. I have to go somewhere this afternoon, so I'm trying to get ready. And I hope to next time have better videos. I have a lot more planned, like show y'all Boxville Whiskers and how I predict and how I actually go through it. This is just a brief jump video, per se, on this event, but this is an event I've been keeping eyes on for a couple days. Tomorrow looks a little better, but I will go into hopefully more detail about tomorrow's event tomorrow. So, and with that, a slight chance from tropical Cristobola tomorrow, day 2, through this region. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have a better chance to sit down and talk more about it and actually break down on how I go over how I break down with this event, with these kind of events better. So then, hope everyone has a good day. I'm definitely watching. I'm saying a little bit. Okay, so if I have an area to watch today, I say Nebraska through this region right in here. If you can see my mouse, so this would be my region, lots of parts of Nebraska up through here. I think this region on the far west side has the greatest chance, but I could be wrong. That's just why I do these videos, just to give my honest opinion. I know it's a very lame, probably makes no sense video, but it'll be alright. Until then, I hope everyone has a good day, and I hope to do a better video next time. Until then, keep your eyes on the sky. Yeah,